Hello, everyone. Oh my gosh, I thought last week was a busy week. This week has been even crazier for me. Let me tell you guys, it's been a pretty good week. I'm not gonna lie, I had some really high highs on Tuesday that I'm going to talk about in a second. But ultimately, this video is going to be about taking care of reborns. I don't know if I've made a video specifically about this topic, but some people are definitely needing help, especially when it comes to hair. Um, I'm not probably going to do the hair in this video because I don't have my tripod. I have to get a new one tomorrow. So, but I needed to put out a video, so I might not do her hair in this video. She is still available, which is extremely frustrating because she's priced so low and she is fully rooted. Anyway, so this week, actually Tuesday, I took my learner's permit test and I passed, you guys. Finally, I am on my way to getting my full license. So I only missed one question, and that's because I had been studying for an entire month ahead of time. So I'm very happy about that, you guys. It's such a relief to finally be moving towards being able to just drive wherever I need to be, because I've saved enough to be able to buy a used car. It's just the amount of getting to that point where I can drive it. So now I only have to get 60 hours logged of driving time, and then I'll go back and get my full license in April, at the end of April. Because of COVID right now, North Carolina, they're not doing road tests, so I don't have to actually do behind the wheel test. So that's actually made things a little sketchy for me, because it's like I could be the worst driver in the world, but since I passed the written test and I got my logged hours, I get my full license. But yeah, that's what's going on with North Carolina right now because of COVID. So I feel both lucky that I don't have to take the behind the wheel test, but also it's really kind of weird and sketchy that they're not requiring it. But yeah, so I will be getting a car soon so that I can obviously start to get some more hours in. Right now, my friends are letting me practice in their cars, so until I can get to that point where I'm going to get a car soon. But of course, because I'm in a dorm, now I also have to buy a parking pass. It's a lot of expenses coming up. So yeah, that was Tuesday afternoon. But Tuesday morning, you guys, Tuesday morning, I got the COVID vaccine. I got the Moderna one, and that is because I was able to qualify for Group 1 because of where I work. Where I work has 2 clinics in the building, so I was able to qualify. If you have any questions about that, you can ask me. I had very mild side effects that went away within 48 hours. YouTube might flag this video because I talked about the COVID vaccine. Not sure how they're doing that now. But either way, yes, I did get the vaccine, and I am very happy, and I feel so relieved because the Moderna one, their studies show that after the first dose alone, it's about 80% effective, a little bit over 80%. So the amount of relief I feel knowing that it's going to kick in beginning of next week, I feel so relieved. My anxiety levels, of course, I'm still going to have to wear a mask and stuff when I go in public, but just knowing that I'm like so much more protected is such an unexplainable relief. But anyway, so this video is, like I said, about taking care of reborns, because a lot of people don't seem to know how to take care of their reborns. I mean, people who have so many reborns, I see their reborns and I just, oof. So for me, my babies are mostly display. I don't really hold them that much. I don't really play with them that much. I just change their clothes and I look at them, basically. Her hair is a little messy right now because she did have a hat on. It's back here. So, but in general, I try to keep their hair a little bit tidier if they're not wearing a hat. But yes, so first I want to talk about hair. Now, I see a lot of people who don't know how to deal with hair, especially the type of hair that she has, which is like curly mohair. And so that's mainly why I wanted to talk about this, because I see a lot of people who even get my dolls who don't know how to take care of this Slumberland mohair, and that's probably because it is softer than a lot of mohairs they're probably used to. But all you need to do really is water, and maybe even you don't even need a brush sometimes with this type of mohair, because it is so soft that a lot of times I can just smooth her hair down with water on my finger. And if I want it to curl up, I take my fingers and I scrunch up the hair like that, and I play with it, and then it starts to curl. That's when it's wet. When it's wet and you scrunch it up like that with your fingers and you play around with it, it starts to curl up on its own. So that's how I style it curly. And like I said, if I want to style it straight, if I do need to brush it, I do not use a baby brush. I feel like I did in the beginning, but I definitely do not now, especially with this nicer mohair. Now I use, if I can find it, there it is. This is a baby toothbrush, actually. So it's very soft. And I just, wet the hair, or wet the brush mostly. And then I just softly brush. So that's what I do with hair. And you can play around with it, but you always want to be delicate, especially with this kind of hair, because it could break off, and that would not be great for anyone. So that's the most important thing I want to talk about, taking care of your reborns that have this mohair, this softer, nicer mohair. So additionally, I want to talk about fabrics. Now, if you are putting darker fabrics on your reborns, you really, really, really should be washing them beforehand, before you put on them, because certain unwashed dark clothing items can bleed through and get into the vinyl, and then that causes a whole horrible issue on its own. And you might have to use to get that out, the dye out of the vinyl. What is recommended is that you use acne cream. I think it's like Oxy 10 or something, and you slather that on wherever the dye got, and then you set the pieces out, or the baby out, in the sun for like 24 hours, and that should get the dye out. But to even avoid getting to that situation, always wash dark clothing items, unless it's like secondhand, because secondhand items are usually already been washed multiple times and will not bleed through. But you should be washing secondhand items anyway. But yeah, so that is a number one. I see that all happen all the time, where people don't know that, and then they'll put the clothing item on their baby and leave it on there, and then it'll bleed through, and then they're heartbroken. So that is definitely something to keep in mind when thinking about how you're taking care of your reborns and dressing them. Additionally, when you dress them, you want to be really careful that you're not rubbing too much on the hands and feet, because that's the place that loses the paint the quickest. Is the fingers and toes are really where the paint goes quickly. And usually to do that, to protect them, I will put on their socks or their hand mittens before I change them. And if I don't want them to wear it with the outfit, I'll then take them off, the hand mittens and the socks. That way they're protected when I'm putting over the sleeves and the pant legs and all that kind of thing. You want to keep your dolls out of sunlight as much as possible, because that will fade the paint over time. I mean, it'll take years, but it'll still fade the paint ever so much. You want to keep them in somewhere that's not too hot, not too cold. I think that's just kind of common sense, though. You don't want them to be hot, because then the vinyl will start to sweat, which means it'll get sticky, and especially if you have a doll that is painted with air dry paints. Heat set, not so much, but you still want to keep them relatively in an air conditioned but not too cold area and out of the sunlight. I'm trying to think if I can think of anything else that is important. Basically, because these are works of art, if you're meaning to keep these as heirlooms, if you want to treat them as works of art, treat them as work of art. Do not be super rough with them, otherwise your baby's not going to last years and years. It's going to not last that long. Just be careful with them as you would a real baby. Additionally, if you have small children and you don't want your baby to get messed up, do everything you can to keep your babies, your real children, away from the reborns. Again, can't tell you how many horror stories where kids draw on the reborns. Like, we're talking about like hundreds and hundreds of dolls that get like drawn on by toddlers and slightly older children, messed up by children, real children. So yeah, be careful with that. And on the same kind of thought, keep your pets away from your reborns. This is a big one. Any kind of pets that can get to them, keep them away from your reborn. Anytime you're around your pet, put your reborn up where you know they cannot reach them. It's just so sad when it happens, but they can, and they will chew your reborn. They can, and they will pee on your reborn. So definitely keep them away. That's why when I was at my mom's house and I was working on a couple dolls, I would remove everything away from the painting table so they couldn't get anywhere near the dolls I was working on. And then additionally, the only time they were allowed in my room was when I was in there with them to watch them. So they had no opportunity to even mess with them without me looking at them. So that is something if you want to have pets, you have to stay vigilant. It becomes habit. You remember to close the door. It takes only one time to slip up, but you just have to be hyper vigilant. So I hope this helped. I'm running out of recording time. So I hope this video helped you guys. If you have any additional questions, something that I missed about taking care of reborns, let me know and I'll answer your questions below, or I'll make a separate video if it's worth talking about separately. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. Oh, as a side note, I wanted to mention that I will have 2 dolls available for sale soon. This one, you can only see the back of her head because I'm about to start rooting her. She'll be fully rooted. She is a real-born Daphne asleep. So she will be available shortly. And I will also have a Remy Ashton by Cassie Brace. Really cute kit. It's a limited edition kit. They will both be for sale. So not custom orders, just for sale. If you guys are interested in either one of them. And like I said, I still have that Levi for sale that was in this video. So yeah, let me know. She's really cheap. She's only $3.50, like I said. So yeah, let me know if you're interested in any of those 3 dolls. And I will talk to you guys soon.